Statesman Nation here with Sean Gosewisch as we preview the men's cross-country season here for 2017. Coach, you guys are coming off a really tremendous year, record-breaking year, record-setting year with Jamal Boma leading the way, being the first All-American in school history. So we definitely want to talk about last year, but obviously this is more about this year. But let's recap real quickly the 2016 season.
Sure. Like you said, it was kind of a historic season for us, at least on an individual basis.
Right.
Jamal being 13th in the nation, broke a cross-country record that has stood since Ralph Long was here.
78,
yeah,
I think,
it's been a while. So, to do those two things, be the first All-American in school history, we take that as a win,
right,
for sure, on an individual basis. So, that was great on the men's side. Peyton Bush, unfortunately, just missing being a second national qualifier for us at conference, and Guadalupe Gonzalez also just on the women's side, just narrowly missing that there. So, we had a lot of good things happen this past season, so not angry with it.
Definitely. Going into this season, Jamal is back. It's kind of iffy if that was going to happen, but it sounds like he's back, and that's awesome. So let's run down from Jamal and going on all with the men's side, and in another video we can talk all about the women, but let's just go through that men's roster, see what it looks like.
Sure, yeah. Up front is definitely going to be Jamal. I expect big things out of him again, and I think he's probably a little hungry to hopefully go top 10 in the nation this time around, but we'll see. We'll see how he progresses. And behind him, the returners being Terry Jackson, Cameron Shade, and David Williams on the men's side. So we're actually not that upperclassmen heavy, and behind them are just a whole slew of freshmen.
Right.
We've got a couple New Yorkers in Charles Dominics, Daniel Blanco. I've got a small Alaska crew. Apart from Terry is Julian Davis. Got a pretty good contingent out of Texas. With Anthony Williams goes by AJ.
Okay.
Joseph Diaz, Matt Newton's coming to us out of Arizona. Trying to think if I've left anybody out on this. It's quite a list, and then we've still got a couple that may or may not come in this coming weekend. Noah Chapa, Jordan Swainson. If they a little late on the decision, but there's always a chance they might come in.
Yeah.
And then on the women's side, we're looking at Lupe to kind of lead the charge for us. She's coming off an outstanding track season. Qualifying for nationals, everything like that. So behind her, the returners in Lauren Lehman and Brianna Lee and Charlotte Hackett. And then with them, Sharon Farmer has always been kind of around but injured, so she's starting off this year healthy. So we'll see how she does for us. And then we've got newcomers in Michelle Reyes, Elizabeth Tatar, an Iowa native. Justice Jakes will be here this coming Saturday, as well as hopefully Heaven Buckner.
Good.
So men, we're looking at about 17 guys, women around 10. So.
Okay. That's starting to build, and that's what it's always been talk, is if you're going to have to build, it's probably going to have to be through quantity, and then you can work on that quality side. But, the men, definitely, individually wise, Jamal brings one of the best quality you're going to see out there. So, talk about how, his impact with such a young team that, it's basically him and a whole bunch of underclassmen. So, his influence level, and, obviously he's going to be way out there in a very individual sport. He's got to be pushing himself, but what are you looking from him?
I mean the kids aren't going to really run with him because it's just not. He's going to be training at paces significantly faster than them. Just being blunt with it. But outside of the training atmosphere, I expect them to be kind of looking at him on what to do. He kind of lives and breathes cross country, and I'm by no means asking people to be monks, but there are certain decisions you have to make outside of practice that he does, whether it be sleep, nutrition, hydration, anything along those lines. So he's kind of the example setter, both in and out of practice.
Exactly. And on the women's side, you got the same situation. A few more returners that have been through the ringer, so to speak. But again, it's Guadalupe leading that charge.
Definitely.
So. Same basic thing. Obviously not a top 13 runner like Jamal, but still
a national qualifier. And you can't overlook that.
An example setter for sure. This schedule, mirror image of last year. Anything that really is going to jump out at you, like any meets that you guys are really excited about to do?
I mean, the first one at Augie's always fun. It's a night meet, glow sticks, music's bumping, so that one's always fun to get.
And hopefully it's not, because weren't you guys running through like puddles last year? Wasn't it raining last year? Or am I thinking 2 years ago?
Last year was the Grandview one actually that got rained out and moved to Simpson.
Right.
Which they're moving their course instead of trying it again 3 years in a row and getting rained out. They're moving to wherever Southeast Polk runs their cross courses. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay.
But with Mount Mercy going to be hosting nationals in 2018 and 20
next year. Yeah.
I kind of expect that Seminole Valley Stampede meet, which was already big to begin with, but I expect that to be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So that kind of more competition, the better.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a good mix of a few smaller meets, especially the Grandview one, pretty small. But then you have these really big ones, the Augustana, Brisbane, Lundin, and obviously Seminole Valley are going to be really huge. Again, I don't want to make this about the top two runners, but those are really huge meets for those guys, for Jamal and Lupe to prepare for, and if they can figure out how to just get out, I mean, that's going to be the biggest part. Get out in that front pack so they're not having to pass 100 to 200 people as they're going on, but get themselves started and put themselves in a good position. It's a good preview for conference and then and nationals too if they would qualify. So
yeah, for sure. The more we get them into race situations where they're pushed continually as opposed to just kind of going to the front and sitting with a few people, the better.
Right.
For those two.
And that's the same respect for the younger kids are going to have to figure out how to run in those big meets. I mean, you can't just sit back and expect that, I'll be able to pick off some, and you will, but to be at the top of the list, it's going to take a lot more than that. So, any keys to success here in fall of 17?
I mean, for the most part, I say the same thing every year, and the number one key is just to remain healthy, keep everybody training consistently. But on top of that, I feel like it's more of a tight-knit group than it has been. The kids really came together, probably because they're all so young to begin with. They're all kind of in the same boat, new environment, new training system. So, if everybody really pulls together and stays as close as they are and just really buys into the program and understands that the training I'm giving them is not sadistic and made to hurt them, and that it'll help them in the end, then I think that freshman class can do some pretty big things for us.
Definitely. All right, so in a matter of 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, I'm trying to think what day it is. Yeah, a little over 2 weeks, you've got your first meet, so best of luck. Enjoy the training. I know preseason is kind of grueling.
It is.
The kids are but I mean, that's just cross country in itself. Tons of mileage, and I mean, preseason probably doesn't change a lot from what regular season looks like. So they just they know what they're doing. They're going to go out and hopefully work hard for you, and again, stay healthy and have some strong finishes along the way. So
we'll get there.
All right, best of luck. We'll be tracking you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.